Although Indian team fans must be really disappointed after getting those 211 runs. Still, South Africa chased that total with such ease, such conviction. Look at the batting. If you look at the scorecard today, Ishan Kishan, top performer for India, 76 of 48. He getting back into form and getting some runs for India. Great news. Everyone pitching in: Rituraj Gaikwad, Shreyas Iyer, Rishabh Pant. And at one point, it looked like that India has got a decent total on board, but somehow uh, I think Rassi and David Miller had some different plans, and they completely. I think they took Indian bowling to the cleaners. That's the most respectful way to describe India's bowling performance today. I have with me Joydeep Da, Abhijit, and Damini. I'll start with Joyda. Joyda, first of all, let's give the credit where it's due. The
Mm,
curators in this baking hot sun, they
yeah,
have produced a belter of a cricket pitch.
yeah. But funnily, at the midway interview, Ishan Kishan said that this was not an easy pitch to bat on. Now I don't know if that's a ploy just to throw the South Africans off, but it didn't seem like that in the 40 overs. I agree with you. But Nishant, you're from Delhi and nobody knows the heat better than you. But now the new norm is to keep it under covers for much longer than we used to back in our time, back in the
Yeah.
day. We used to take it out at 9 o'clock in the morning. It used to the sun used to beat on it all day. Now they have the covers till 4 o'clock. So,
Hmm.
even if it's a 7 o'clock game, 4 o'clock you take the covers off. There's firstly plastic, then there's the matting, then there's the coir. So a lot of the heat doesn't get, and that's the right way to go about it. Thankfully, you've got it by now because you hate to see a game like this. And the shots at the end, just the hike over mid wicket and the shots over long on, those are not possible if the pitch is not good. So it was a really good one.
Abhit, I will come to you. I think at one stage it looked like 211 is a good score, but considering that it was a good batting wicket, like that's what the scorecard at least is. Although Shan said it's not an easy wicket to bat, but short boundaries, fast outfield. I think South Africa were always in the game.
I mean, never felt like, they were lagging behind. I think, even when they lost 3 wickets for 81 run, I think they still had a chance. And I think once Miller and, Rossi, they were set, I think, never ever felt like, India was there in the game. Even the last, how many, what was I think they scored what, 130 partnership between them and not even 60 deliveries. So it just proves how good they were. And I think, to be honest, I felt like, apart from the batting, even in the fielding was a bit lacking from the Indian team because you see the cut were going, into the third or fourth sleeve, and there was no one was there. Even the that intent was not there in the fielding as well. I think that was one of the things as well. But I think credit to all the batsmen of South Africa the way they played. And I think Miller and Rossi's partnership was completely game changer.
Damni, at one stage, it looked like when India got the wicket of Quinton de Kock, that all important wicket, and it looked like that is the window India has to put some pressure, to put some, you know, chasing 200 is never easy. 10 runs and over is never an easy target. You get one or two wickets more, and you can put a lot of pressure. But I think Razzie and David Miller, phenomenal partnership. They just they joined hands in 8.4 overs, and in less than 10, like Abhijit said, that in less than 10 overs, they got the total. Like, just imagine to get 211 with 5 balls to spare. That must be some different level of batting, isn't it?
Uh, you know, uh, Whenever Quinton de Kock got dismissed by India, it was not like game on for Team India because everybody knew that David Miller was coming on to bat, and then if a wicket fell, then it would be Rajiv van der Dursen, and they just completely blew away the Indian bowlers. I would say that it was extremely responsible for them, to come at that juncture when everything seemed to be in Team India's favor. They just took it upon themselves that no, we'll just have the result at our way, no matter how difficult the situation is. David Miller was completely going all guns blazing right from the word go. And I would say, more than David Miller, I would personally, give the credit to Rassie van der Dursen because at one point of time, his strike rate was below 100, he was taking his time to settle down. And once he did get settled down, unfortunate for that catch to be dropped by Shreyas Iyer, he suddenly seemed to, get that confidence that David Miller is striking from that end. Let me do the job from the other end. And, Rassi Vanderdersen perhaps has taken this personal, thing to play his best against India. If we see earlier in the year as well, India tour of South Africa, it was Rassi van der Dersen playing so well, be it the tests, be it the one dayers. And it's a bit disappointing that Team India couldn't, hold on when the asking rate was almost touching 14 for South Africa to climb, and David Miller and Rassi just took it upon themselves. Why didn't the Indian bowlers, live up to the occasion and hold back? I mean, they should have shown some responsibility, but all credit goes to Miller and Rassi. They have played exceptionally well.
Joyda, if you look at the scorecard, you cannot find any fault in the first half of the Indian innings. Like batters did what they were supposed to do. Like 211 is a pretty decent total on this wicket. But if you look at the Indian bowling, Bhuvneshwar Kumar 4 for 43, Avesh 4 for 35, Yajuvendra 2 overs 26, Hardik 1 over 18, Harshal 4 over 43 runs, Akshar Patel 4 for 40. What does it tell? To me, it suggests that none of them could put that pressure, create those dot ball pressure, where batters think that they have to play some pressure releasing shots to get out of the jam.
Nishant, as you rightly said, I thought this 211 was a 180 at Eden Gardens, okay, and maybe a 165 at Bombay at the end of the IPL when the pitches were slowing down and turning. Everything, the short boundaries, the belter of a wicket. So 211, but Firozshah Kotla better than anybody else. That ball flies there. It's a small ground over there. So 211 might sound 211, but on a normal big ground, it's about 180. Okay, and that was the reason why I picked South Africa to win this game in the pre-show. Because for me, although I was pleasantly surprised with the back to form of Ishan Kishan and everybody else that joined the party, batting looked good, I still thought that wasn't enough. I thought 211 on this pitch, if a couple of guys get going, who are the guys going to stop you? Okay, except Bhuvi and Harshal Patel, I didn't think anybody was there to stop them. Okay, Hardik's bowling has been off and on. He hasn't really, you can't bank on him to bowl 428 yet. I'm sure it's going to happen in the next 4 months before they board the flight to Australia, but it hasn't happened yet. So who are you looking at? So, I didn't think 211 was enough. I thought they were at least another 15-20 run short, considering the conditions that's in play.
But will you also say that, that normally India used 6 bowlers, but there was normally in an innings like this, there is one bowler who goes for 4 for 20, 4 for 25. And you expect that from someone like Bhuvi, someone like Harshal or Yuji, but that didn't come from any of the experienced campaigners in the side. Maybe if one tight spell was there, then we may have ended with South Africa needing 18 runs in last six balls, and then it is anybody's game.
See, Nishan, the problem is if the pitch is not helping you and the ground is small, then where are you going to get the wicket from? I can understand the pitch being really good, like it is in Hyderabad, but the grounds are 80 meters. Okay, so I can understand. So the spinners, the Chahals, whoever has a chance. On the other side, I can understand the boundaries are really short, the square boundaries are really short, but there's some juice in the pitch for the fast bowlers and the spinners. So here in both cases, it's not there. So where is it going to come from? Even when you saw India batting, it never looked like till Ishan Kishan hold out at long on. It didn't look like it was going to get out. Every ball that hit the bat was landed in the gallery. I didn't see any of the sixes even landing on the ground. All of them were in the gallery. That's how good the pitch was. There was space in the pitch. They had left enough grass. It was rock hard. No cricket in the last couple of months. And Firozshah Kotla just helped it to make a really good wicket. We don't see this good a wicket in the IPL when they play 8 games over there. We don't, or for 7 games over there. We don't see that because they play off and on every other day, once every 4 days, 5 days. But this was, like you rightly said at the beginning, it was a really good cricket wicket. And 211 was not a winning score. It was a fighting score, and the bowlers couldn't hold up. Didn't get enough wickets up front. Um, they batted beautifully. Miller, everybody, even Van Dusen towards the end, he Damini said, strike rate below 100, and then to just take off like that, superb. And they don't bat deep. There was a debutant after that, then Wayne Parnell, then Rabada. So they were 2 wickets from being at the tail. But who's going to get those 2 wickets?
Abhijit, I agree with Joyda when he says that bowlers didn't have anything on this wicket. It was like a cement wicket, नहीं होता जैसा practice में होता है टांग रखो
जी.
मारो बस, that kind of wicket. But having said that, this is a modern cricket reality that you will get wickets like this. And without getting too critical of Indian bowling, understanding the limitations and the kind of conditions they had, what do you think they could have done differently? You think they should have used slower ball more, change of pace? What do you think was missing? Maybe fielding effort? You think like catches were dropped? Do you think that Indians look little tired in the field? Maybe the fatigue of IPL?
Yeah, but I would not say the fatigue of IPL, but I think that intent was not looking the winning intent, I would say. But somehow I also felt like some of the deliveries which I saw were hitting for the sticks. I mean, they were completely full toss. I mean, it's like you're just gifting them, like go and hit me. That's what I thought would happen. But again, uh, surprised that Yajendra Chahal, maybe he could have given some couple of. I mean, he just bowled 2.1 overs. I think maybe he could have given earlier to see how it could have gone. And then initially, I think in the first seven overs, 6 bowlers were used. So I don't know if that was the correct tactic. Maybe with 2 bowlers or one bowler, you could have given him a 2 over spell, something like that, just to give, because you know you do a lot of variable changing, and that's not gonna affect it. You need to have a game plan. I think you know Rishabh Pant didn't had the game plan today. Like fine, 212 is a big score, but I think you still need to go and defend there. So you need to say, okay, fine, let's have this plan. Let's attack this bowler. Watch what's could be his weakness. Bringing Chahal or something like that. Like Keshav Maharaj was first. He was bowling first for South Africa. Why not take a chance with Yajwendra Chahal in that? I think if 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 your plan A is not working, have plan B, C, D, and something like that. But I think overall, maybe some ball here and there could have worked. But I think slightly a little disappointed with Harsha Patel, although he got 1 wicket. But I think maybe that slower ball, it was somewhere missing from his country.
Before I go to Damini, a quick question, Joyda. I think Abhijit had a very valid point. If a bowler like Harshal Patel is bowling in the first 7 overs, that means captain has very little options now, because normally you would ask Harshal to bowl in the, towards the, he normally bowls 12th, 14th, 16th, or 18th, or 13th, that kind of 14, 16, 18, 20. Those overs he bowls. But he was bowling the 6th, 7th over. So that just shows that India was always under pressure.
Yeah, absolutely. And I also feel that, India lacked a really quick bowler today. On a wicket like this, you need somebody who can blow you away. They had Rabada and Nokia both bowling, I think bowling around 150. I think they should have gone, because their Indian attack looked a little one-dimensional today. If you look at the bowling figures of South Africa, they went at 343, Maharaj on an off day, but look at Rabada, 435, Nokia 438, Panel 432. That's awesome. That's the role that Harshal Patel should have done, because he is the Harshal Patel of the team. He bowls in the slog, he bowls those slowers, those Yorkers, and then 227 and 335. But you cannot be 211 for 4. For me, India, Ishan Kishan was superb, but Rituraj, 15 ball 23, Shreyas Iyer, 27 ball 36. That's not good enough on this wicket. That's 133 strike rate. That's not going to win you this game. You can be 211 for 7 or 8, but you can't be 211 for 4. You can be if 211 could be 230, we could have won, or for 7, we could have won this game. But I thought with wickets in hand, we didn't push hard enough. Even at the end, we see Hardik Pandya was superb, but Pant was 15 ball 29, so 181. So at the end, they tried, but it just wasn't enough. I think in the middle, they slowed down a little bit. And when it's such a impactful game where you got to really, you can't let go. You got to you got to keep at it all the time, because you can't just let the thing drop even for 2 overs, because you can't catch up. That's where I felt India lost her in the batting, and I feel they should have gone with Umran Malik. They should have played one quick bowler, one person who South Africa, everybody hasn't played. Somebody can change. It looked a little one-dimensional today, the attack, without Bumrah.
As Dada rightly pointed out, I think unleashing Umran Malik could have been an option here. But maybe we will see him in action sooner than later. Everyone is watching. I was actually watching a tweet yesterday. They showed that the speedometer at the practice uh, saw that he has clocked 163.7. Oof, that's some pace.
Yep.
Damini, what if I ask you, like, if you look at the Indian batting, there were plenty of positives. Ishan Kishan getting among the run and playing the way we would like Ishan to play, especially in the absence of KL Rahul. That was a good news for Indian cricket.
It's good to see Ishan Kishan getting back his form. In the IPL, unfortunately, he couldn't click, but it's really good to see him get back in form at the right time for the country. But here, I would just like to say that, Ishan Kishan should, if possible, could have shown a bit of responsibility to try and stay till the end and finish things off for Team India, because he was really looking good. He played that very good innings of a 76 or 48 deliveries. If he could just have worked a bit hard and played his shots a bit more responsibility and stayed till the end, perhaps, as Joydeep Da just now highlighted, that India could have perhaps made up for those 15 to 20 runs extra and put up a very good and perhaps a winning total, to provide the Indian bowlers something to defend. And yes, as again, going by what Joydeep just stated, that India, with losing just 4 wickets, cannot just be 211 runs. Like highlighting that Lucknow match, where without losing a single wicket, Lucknow managed just 210 runs and managed to win it by just 2 runs. If you are losing, if you have the wickets in hand, then each and every person has to contribute. Yes, the Indian batters did contribute, but I believe, as I stated in the pre-match, that I was expecting to see Dinesh Karthik be that finisher. He couldn't. Well, now you would say that he came down very late at the last over, but still, perhaps he could have used his opportunity to at least provide a couple of big shots. And as far as India's batting is concerned, well, yes, a challenging total to defend, but not a winning one. When you're seeing that the pitch is really good to bat on, if you are playing and you're finding it to be a good batting pitch, then you should have used it well.
I think
I
it
was
will be
just
unfair
going through
to,
going
it
through
will
the
be unfair
scorecard,
to
and
blame
South
Dinesh
Africa
today.
bowlers gave 12 wides. The total
Oh,
extras were 15 and 12 wides. So, I mean, the Indian batsmen scored about 200 runs. Okay. So I think there was a little contribution from South African bowlers as well.
Yeah, but also what happens, Abhijit, on the wides is that, if your plan is to go around the wicket and wide Yorker, even a couple of wides are forgiven, because you're staying within the plan. Okay, so the field has been set for a short third, wideish third man, backward point, cover on the boundary, and right arm bowler going round the wicket and bowling across. You cannot bowl on the stump. If you bowl on the stump, you'll get hit for 4-6. So even if you give 2 wides on the off stump or 3 wides in an over, it is forgiven. Sometimes you'll see a bowler bowls a wide and the keeper is going like this. Why? Because you're still in the plan. You didn't give up on the plan. You just missed it by a whisker. So you stay within the plan, you get it right next time. And that wide is only one more extra ball. Then you bowl the perfect ball, you give 1 run or 2 runs. But if you bowl on the stumps, you give a 6. So the wide is not so much of a bad thing as long as you're in the plan, is all I'm trying to say.
yeah, I completely agree. It's a very harsh game for the bowlers. Damni, coming to your point, I think it'll be a little too critical to go after Dinesh Karthik. He came in the 19.2
Nice.
overs, and he
Two,
just
two
played
balls.
2 balls, and most of the over was played by Hardik Pandya. Having said that, Abhijit, I think, in my personal opinion, someone like Rituraj Gaikwad, knowing fully well that this team doesn't have Rohit Sharma, this team suddenly has lost KL Rahul, and that's how he will get his opportunities. Like, someone will get injured, someone will not be available, someone will be resting. That's how a player like Rituraj Gaikwad, or tomorrow maybe someone like in these bowlers Avesh Khan, they will get these opportunities like this only. And when you get an opportunity like this, you have to grab it with both hands. Rituraj started very well, but I think I'm sure he would understand it more than anyone else.
Yeah, completely agree because see, Rohit and Rahul are the two people like nowhere in the world you can, if they are fit, nowhere in the world you can think of dropping him. I think Ruturaj, I think he's is still 20, 25, 26 years old. He have a long, period to go, but I think this is his time. There are four more T20s. I don't know, like he'll play, but I think if he perform well in next two, then maybe he would give given chances. I think it's time for him to be that always the contender knocking on the doors of selectors. Like if Rohit and KL is no there, I'm the first person you see me as the opening batsman of Indian team. I think that's what the impression he has to make. I've seen Rituraj in Gaikwad playing in Pune. I still remember it was way before he made the IPL debut. It was an MPL Maharashtra Premier League match where he scored a century, and I think it was one of the best knocks I've seen when he was at the I think about 19 to 20 years old. So, and when everyone was saying in the ground, like one day he will definitely become a big player, and they were saying like he'll represent the country in like 3 4 years. Having said that, but it's taken a bit time, but I think he's is a person who can definitely fit into that role, and it's just a great opportunity. I remember in few of the tours, he was not given all the matches to play, and definitely with KL Rahul is not there, this is his opportunity to grab it with complete hands and then make the best out of it. If Rudra is not going to score big innings, I'm not talking about just 150, but 70, 80s, I think then he'll be at least in the okay fine. If Rohit is not there, KL is not there, Rituaj is the guy we can depend on.
Yeah, just to add to that, it's also we got to realize that it's a belter of a pitch on a small ground. So you're also asking these guys 560, 670, 790. That sort of target overs and runs. So when you do that, there you will ought to fail also in some games, because when you're asking a couple of players to go and open and get 70 runs in 6 overs, you cannot be that consistent because you're obviously taking a lot of risks. Today, Ishan Kishan got going. He started well. He couldn't finish it up. Could well have been the other way. It could well have been that Ishan Kishan got out and he went all the way. That's what happens. But what was good was that one guy, if one guy got a 70, if there was another guy who got a 15, 28, 29 balls, then instead of 211, we would have been 232 and then we would have won this game. That's the point I'm trying to make. Everybody else got short, okay, 10 balls, 18, 9 balls, 25, but nobody got a 50. If another guy got a 50 of 28 balls, we would have won this game easily.
Dada, like you have rightly pointed out, I personally feel that bowlers could have done a little better. And I really agree with your point that batters could have contributed.
Yeah,
And
little
that,
more runs.
favorite quote of the captains, we were 20 runs short. And
yeah,
but,
you've been through too many press conferences to know you to have heard that.
yeah,
For sure.
that's
From our team and from the opponents, both.
that's etched in my like.
Yes, absolutely.
The
True.
but
But today I really felt so because he had 6 wickets in hand. I thought they were driving with the handbrakes on. I thought they could have just let go a little earlier.
Dada, as we all know, and we saw in Dubai in the World Cup, that there are few issues Indian T20 side needs to resolve before they land in Melbourne in the month of October. If you are the coach today, just take yourself, wear that hat. What are the areas? What is the stumbling block you have discovered today of this side which you think you need to work upon? I would not look too much into the results of these matches, or as long
And
as we are ticking those boxes. Like,
that's a great question. That's a really great question. First thing is, after the power play, not to let go. To make sure that my batters keep building from there. We were at one stage after the power play between 7th over and 11th over, we slightly got below. and then we again made up. So in 4 overs, we were where we started. So we wasted 24 balls in being where we were. So we went down and then we came up there. So if you've got a good start, you've lost 1 wicket, you've got enough batting in the heart. Somebody like a Dinesh played just 1 ball. So you go hammer and tongs even more. Number one. Number two is at the end, you got to make sure that one of your main batters is still there. You can't leave it. Dinesh Karthik, he's been phenomenal, but you can't expect him to come and play 2 balls and hit 2 sixes every time. It's not fair on anybody. Forget him. So Hardik has to stay till the end. Little more planning. You saw Miller today. He didn't hit every ball. When there was a Yorker that came, he patted it for a one and went. When there was a half ball, he smacked it to cover and almost was getting run out. He did not try to hit those balls for, but when the opportunity came, he hit them for 4s and 6s. So his choosing was superb. I thought that is something that Indian middle order can pick up. This is not the middle order that's going to play. I know Surya is going to play. I know Rohit is going to play. Virat is going to play. I know that. That's the team that's going to play. And also, I feel Rishabh is one guy who has to be there till the end. He's batting at 4 now. He's not batting at 6 like he used to before. He has to take responsibility. He has to make sure he's there till the end because he's the guy who can change the game. If he stays till the end, anything is possible. But for the batters, it's a 1-ball game. Coming to the bowling, I thought they missed pace up front. I thought Chahal could have, he bowled 2 for 22. I would have still gone with him because he is the guy who can pick your wickets. And you will only win these games if you pick up wickets.
I think very valid point. I personally feel that Chahal is your wicket-taking bowler.
Absolutely.
And I think Indians today shut the shop very quickly. Rather than going for wickets, if they, in this South African attack, if you had an ability to break this partnership, you would have really opened the floodgates. Like this,
Nishant, 222.
South Africa
222 could well have been 438-3.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think that's
and
where.
And then you get the debutant into the game, then you get Wayne Parnell into the game, and then you get Rabada into the game.
And especially the kind of form UG is carrying.
Yeah.
I mean, we are running out of the time very quickly. Any changes you would like to see before we walk into the park next time on the June 12th? Any changes you think very quickly, because I think we are running
just
out
on
of time.
this, just on what I spoke about. I think I've covered my points.
And Damni, what would be your changes? Any
So this team looks good. So sorry.
Anyone you would like to replace in the 11?
No, this team looks good. It's just that each and every player had to just contribute a bit more, push themselves a bit harder. They could have easily gone over the line. This team really looks good. I would say that in the next match they can go with the same playing 11. It's just that they need to push themselves a bit harder. This was a match they could have easily won. This team looked good to win this match. They somehow just lost it in the middle.
Abhijit, any changes you would like to say?
Bring in Umran Malik. I don't know who will they replace, but I think
completely agree with you. I completely agree with you.
I think if
this is the
you want to see him, if you want to see him in the T20 World Cup, I think this is the time where you test him. If he is the fit to be in this, I think we have a very good pace attack. Bumrah's going to be there, Shami is going to be there. I think Shardul Thakur, I'm not sure, but I think you want that that lethal weapon with you in Australia. So I think Umran Malik should be tried and tested from the next T20. Doesn't matter if he goes for run, but I think he needs to be there. And maybe I would say Deepak Huda as well. I think he is a good lad. I think he is doing well in the IPL. So maybe him as well. But I think the first preference is Umran Malik.
I completely agree with you, and especially the next match is in a stadium which is more or less like Firozshah Kotla. It's Barabati against small outfields, belter of a cricket pitch. Joyda has played some cricket there. So it's
but this,
right
this is a tough South African team. Huh? This is a tough South African team.
And
this series is no walk in the park.
Yeah. And a lot of home runs we will see over there as well, because it's a small ground, ball flies there. So thank you very much, Joyda. Thank you, Abhijit. Thank you, Damini. Thanks for joining us. And thank you to all the fans who are watching this show. We will See you again on the 12th of June before the Baramati game, and hopefully you will have a great time. And hope that Indian team will go back to the drawing board, look at the areas they need to improve, and come back stronger in the next game. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you. Thank you so much. Thank you.